Yes or no? Quickly. Very good. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to third class of OOPS, I guess. Third or fourth class of OOPS, right? And believe me, this OOPS, if you just go ahead and check out on all the online resources, you will realize that OOPS is completed in just one or two lecture or a couple of lectures. But we are actually studying everything in detail. So that's why it is taking some time. But again, this is going to be fun because anyway, oops is going to be very, very important if you are planning to work as a data scientist, or if you are planning to work as a machine learning engineer, or if you want to plan to work as a maybe as a software developer as well, right? So if you want to work as a Python developer, in that case as well, this is going to be very, very important topic. Very important topic. Very important topic. So let's start, guys. Let's start. So today we are going to see a lot of things. So till now, right? If I have to discuss whatever we have completed till now, so guys, if you remember, we have completed right till now, right? So we started with hopes. We started with the OOPS, introduction to OOPS. Then we also covered, I remember in the first or second lecture, we completed one mini project in OOPS, right? Right. In first or second lecture. Then we also moved ahead tomorrow with, sorry, yesterday with classes, object, or it was like, I guess, last week. Anyway, doesn't matter. Then we moved with encapsulation. Then we also encapsulation, right? We also studied the static variable, and finally we also again saw another mini project, that is ATM mini project, right? We also saw that, right? This mini project we will be seeing at a later stage with try exception, logging, to make it a final project that you can represent in your resume. You can write in your resume, put it on your GitHub, whatever you want to put it, right? So we understood this thing, right? Right. Today, what is the agenda of today's lecture? Right. What is the agenda of today's lecture? What is the learning plan today? So the learning plan is very simple. Today we aim to complete OOPS. So to complete OOPS, we are going to start with inheritance first. How two class interact with each other, inheritance. Then we are going to start with polymorphism, morphism. Then we are going to start with abstraction, abstraction, and then finally we are also going to study decorators, right? So we are also going to study decorator. So this is the plan for today's lecture. Just a second, guys. Yeah, I don't think anything is left. Yes, decorators, 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 right? And one small topic, that is class and static method, right? So this comes under this only. So class and static method. Actually, we have seen static variables, that is also class, no, static method similar to that. It is this. So this is something that we are going to understand, right? So this is the idea. Today we are going to complete this much of topic. I have doubt on myself that I will be able to complete this or not. But believe me, I guess we are in a good pace, right? We are not in hurry. We are going to understand everything in detail. Okay, I went to started recording, guys. Is it? I went to started the recording. Mm, okay, very good. Who told me to Pratiksha? Very good, Pratiksha. Uh, do always remind me. So, where is setting? Stop sharing, then maybe again I will get the record. So, I'll just record. Right. So yeah, very good. So these are the till now what we have studied, this OOPS mini project, class object encapsulation, ATM mini project 2. Then in this class today we are going to study about agenda, is inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, decorators, class, and static method. Right. So we are giving a lot of focus on OOPS because this is one of the important topic that people ignore. Right. Many of the students find it hard to understand. Exception handling in the next class, Naglata. That will be exceptional handling, logging, memory management. By next week, we will be done. So you don't need to worry about that. Okay. Should I move ahead now? Everyone is on the same page. Everyone excited? Yes or no? Right. So let's start with inheritance. We'll start with inheritance. Right. So first of all, right, before moving to inheritance, I will ask one question. Very easy thing. Very easy thing. Right. 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 So for example, do you remember when you were writing a function and you wanted to call that particular function? So we had a small topic, function inside function. Do you guys remember that? Right, 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 right. Yes or no? Right, 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 right. Yes or no? Right. This was understanding. So you had a nested function type of thing. You were trying to actually access one function from the other function. Completely fine. Similarly, right, can we access one class from another class? Right, right, right. This is the question. Can we access, can we access class and methods of one class from another class? That's the question. First of all, obviously you understand that it is possible and you can do this. And you can do this using two ways. You can do this using two ways, right? Obviously one is very popular among everyone knows about that, right? That is inheritance, inheritance, inheritance. And the second one is aggregation, aggregation, right, right, aggregation. But before moving ahead to this aggregation and inheritance, we need to understand one very simple concept, that why we do need to access one class method and attribute from other class. Right. This is the question. To understand this, let's try to see a real life analog. Real life analog. Let's say you are designing, right? What example? Let's understand this with an example. Let's say you are designing a e-commerce website. E-commerce website. Very simple. You are designing an e-commerce website. So on e-commerce website, what could be the possibility? Can I say there can be customers? Customers? Right, right. Yes or no? Yes or no? There can be customers? Right, 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 right. Just a second, guys. हेलो भाई ओटीपी भेजिए बताओ ना सर मैं थोड़ा सेशन के बीच में हूँ मैं अभी बता देता हूँ और 988482 988482 और कोई ओटीपी नहीं आएगा ना आएगा 20 मिनट के बाद तो ठीक है so let's say you are making a e-commerce website, then we have this customers, right? There will be also something called product, right? Right, there will be something also called as product. what products is being ordered, what products are being in stock, something like that. Right? So guys, now can I think in this way? To design this website, I can make a class customer, I can make another class product. Yes or no? Just think it. Can I make it? Yes or no? Everyone. Can I make this? One is customer, one is product. Right? 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 And then can I say both will have some relationship? Because customer will buy product. Right. So customer will buy product, will buy product, right? Will buy product. So can I say that customer class will have some relationship with product? Yes or no? Right, 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 right. Now, again, this is the first example. Second example, let's say restaurant. So we have something called, restaurant. Let's say restaurant details or something like that. So what do you think, guys? First of all, let's say restaurant details is there, and then maybe let's say there is a menu, right? There is a menu, right? Right. And maybe comes their customer. Again, don't you think that the customer class and restaurant detail class will have again some sort of relation? There will be some sort of relation because customer can only buy something if the customer has some details about restaurant, maybe menu. What is there in the menu? There will be again a relation, right? Right? Yes or no? Right. The point I am trying to make a very simple point, right? Right? One class, one class, one class information, one class will be accessed by accessed by other or multiple class, because there will always be some sort of relation, or because there will be some relationship between them. Point is very simple. So for example, let's say I am teaching you, so I have a teacher class, you are a student class, right? We both have multiple things in common. You will also be having some name, I will be also having some name. You will also be having some address, I will be also having some address. Yes or no? Right? Yes or no again? Quickly. Right? See, people understand inheritance, people understand actually multiple classes, but they don't understand what is the use case, right? So we have to be more focused to the use case. I will come to the use case, you don't need to worry about that. But this is the understanding, right? This is the understanding. Right? Very good. Now I will give you this with an example. I will make you guys understand this with an example so that you can understand this very easily. Right? 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 So should we start, guys, now? Should we start quickly? So you have understood why class relationship is important, right? So here I will just write Jupyter notebook. We'll write it here. Oops. Right. Advanced. Oops. Advanced 3. Right. And we'll start with inheritance, or let's say aggregation, then inheritance. So let's start with this. So first thing, very simple, we'll start with writing some comment, right? Always, always, always multiple classes, multiple classes, multiple classes have some relationship, right? Right. Example, restaurant has a menu. This is an example, has a menu. Or let's say on e-commerce website, website, products and customers can interact. Very easy, right? Can interact. This is the understanding. Right. Right. Very good. Now let's say we will try to make a class. So before that, so to capture this interaction, I will write to capture this interaction, capture this interaction, interaction. To capture this interaction, Python suggests two ways. Two ways. First is aggregation, 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 and second is inheritance, inheritance. So now let's try to understand both of these things one by one. So we will start with first aggregation, aggregation. So now let's start understanding. Okay. Yes or no? So far so good, right? Right. Quickly, guys. Right. So let's try to understand first aggregation. Aggregation simply means has a relationship. So aggregation means has a relationship, has a relationship. So now let's try to understand this with a very simple example, right? Right. So let's say we have class. We have a class. So I'll make a class. Let's say class is student. Very good. So there is a class called student. See, it's going to be very easy. So we have class student, and now inside class student we have underscore underscore init. So guys, start typing the code. So init, what does init do? It will give you, this is a constructor, you can assign the variable. So class student can have name, right? Right. It can have name, it can have gender, let's say, very simple, and it can have some address, something like this, right? Right. Very good. So this is a class student with this value. You already know self dot name is equals to name, and then self dot gender is equals to gender, right? And then we have self dot address is equals to address. So far so good, guys, everyone. Yes or no? Is there any problem till now? Quickly. Right? Right. Yes or no? So far so good. Right. 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 Very good. So this is your class student. Now what I am going to do? So let's say this is a class student. This is name, gender, and address. Now address can have multiple component. So can I make a different class? Let's say class address. Right? Class address. Simple. So let's say class address. I am making a class address, and then this time def init, right? Then I can just put it again. Self is the first argument. Then we can have, let's say, city. Then we can have state. Then we can have country. Let's say, very easy. Now what you will do? Self dot city is equals to city. Now self dot state is equals to state, and then self dot country is equals to country, right? Self dot state country is equals to country. Now carefully see. First of all, everyone has written this code till here. Everyone has written this code quickly. Yes or no? Everyone has written the code till here, right? Right. Very good. Not a problem till now. Right. Now see it carefully. Now let's make an object of address. Let's make an object of address. So what I'm going to do, see it carefully. I will say address, fine. And inside this address, maybe let's say city. City I will put Bangalore, Bangalore. Let's say state I will put Karnataka, Karnataka, Karnataka. And then country I will put India. Country I will put India. Not a problem, right? So this you are calling or making an object of a class. So let's say I will write making object of a class address. making object of a class address. This is the first thing. Can I say this? Yes or no? Right. Quickly. So far, so good. Any problem here? Right, 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 right. No problem. Now, what I'm going to do? So let's say I have got this address. I have got this address. Now I want to use this address. See it carefully. I want to use this address inside this class student. See it carefully. Now I want to use this address, right? Right. Inside this class student. So maybe let's say define so address. So address. So address. See it carefully. Define so address. So now I will just put itself, right? I want to show the address. Now here I can do print. See it guys, right? Print here. So here I can just write self dot address, self dot address dot let's say city, right? Self dot address dot state, then self dot address dot country. Very easy. I wanted to print this. Now this is address 1, this is address 1. So making object of the class address. Now what I'm going to do, I'll just copy this. I will copy this, right? Making object of the class address, and then I want to pass this object to another class to print the address that is of student. So I want to pass this object to another class that is student. This I want to do. So let's say I will just let it be as it is. I will remove this. Fine. So here we have address 1. So finally this address 1 is an object. So let's say this is an object stored at this memory location. Now what I am going to do, I am going to make another object of this student. So let's say this is the student and I will put it here, a student, and inside this student, what it requires? It requires name. So maybe I will just write name Ajay. Then gender is let's say male. And finally, I want to give address. Now instead of providing address directly, you can pass this object address 1 here, and when you pass this address 1, let's execute this. So maybe let's say student here Ajay is equals to this. Now if you just do Ajay dot so address, then you will find Bangalore, Karnataka, India. Bangalore, Karnataka, India. So what you have done actually, take a pause and think what you have done. See, inheritance is very easy to understand, but actually this is the basic building block, because here you are not inheriting anything, you are not doing anything, you are simply using the object of a class. So you are using this object, you are using the object of this class as the input of another class. So if I have to comment it here, logically, right, logically you are, right, or let's say uh, what to write, technically you are technically uh, the student class doesn't own anything, doesn't on address class, but logically 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 we have established a relationship a relationship between the class, between the class, between the two class, between the two class. Right? Is it clear, everyone? Right, right, right. Yes or no? Yes, Sada, you are correct. Student class has the object of the address class. Very good. That's a fair point. I can just write that as well. So, student class has the object of address class. Address class. And if you think it from outside, what you are doing actually? If you think from outside, what you are guys doing actually? This is nothing but a nested function. Similar to that, right? Yes, technically you are doing aggregation. Obviously, I have taken the use the word aggregation. Right, right. But if you see from outside, what is this? This is a nested function, right? Right. Yes or no? Right. This is a type of nested function, right? Not exactly the same, but this is the understanding. So far, so good, guys, everyone. Yes or no? Yes or no? Very good. Very good. Right, 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 right. Should I move ahead, guys, now? There are few more concept in aggregation. Few more concept in aggregation. Should I move ahead? Right, 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 right. Rajkumar says just show the code above. You can just see the code above. Ayush says, sir, what is relationship between? Relationship is that one object you can access in other class. That is what you are doing here. Right. Right. If you have to understand this, then you can say every student is going to have some address, and address can have multiple component. So let it be one class address which deals with the multiple component. You just care about what is the overall address. You can just write like this way. Right. 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 Is it clear? So here I can just write technically student class is on the address class, but logically we have a relationship between the two classes. Student class is the object of the address class, which means an address can have multiple components. So it is a different class. So it's a different class, but but all the component is aggregated aggregated in in aggregated in student class. Actually, see what happens. Many of the people start talking about this as a parent class. I'm not using the word parent. That's why it is getting a little bit confused. But if I start saying that this is the parent class, this is a child class, it becomes very easy. But actually, those parent class and child class concept comes in inheritance. In aggregation, you are not inheriting something. You are just using the things logically, and this is how you logically use the thing. You can just simply say how to access one attribute or object, right? Or how to use the object of other class in one class. You can say this as well, right? Right, right. So why you use so address? Because it can come in all examples, whatever you feel like, right? Right, right, right. Def address self. Here, how can you connect to the address class? Right. Here you have connected to the address class using self.address.ct. What is this? What is this? This is an object. So inside this self so address, you are providing this object. So basically, what is happening here? Address is an object. Yes or no? This was supposed to be an attribute of this class student, but what you are passing? You are passing an object. Yes or no? Santanu, quickly. What is this name and gender? Name is attribute. Gender is attribute. Address is attribute. It was supposed to be simple attribute address, let's say Bangalore. But what you are passing? You are passing an object. Object of what class? Address class. And in address class, what you have? You have the details, city, state and country. And all of these details you are able to access using here self.address.city, self.address.state, self.address.country. Yes or no? Santanu, is it clear now? Very good. What is your doubt, Sajil? What is your doubt? What is your doubt quickly? Everyone is understanding so far. Anyone who is finding it difficult? I have repeated 2, 3, 4 times. Adeline, Adanaska, right? Praveen, Rutvik, Survi, Naglata, Vipan, Rishikesh. Vipan, I have seen, Vipan sir, I have seen you being irregular. Please be regular in the class. Rishikesh, Mukul, Daksh, right? Right. So far, so good. Bhaiya, why you used so address? Because it can come in all examples. I didn't understood your question. Yes, so address. I just wanted to use this object, or I wanted to use this address argument, which I have passed as an object. That's why I have provided so address. If you not provide so address, you can just provide anything, whatever you wish to. It doesn't matter. Should I move ahead, guys, now? Yes or no? Right? So, okay, let's move ahead, guys, now. So, now, let's say this is the class. This is the class we have made. Class student, init, and something like that. Right, 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 right. Now, moving ahead, let's try to do one experiment. So, if I can make, so let's make the city variable as a private variable. So, let's say I will make this as a private variable. So in this case, what will happen, guys? Try to execute, everyone. If I have made a city variable as a private variable, then what will happen? Quickly, guys, just answer me. Right. Let's make city variable, city variable, city attribute in the address class, in the address class, private, private. Are you saying working? Very good. Class private. Very good. Very good. So let's try to look at this. So this init underscore underscore ct is equals to ct. Now what I am going to do, first of all, make an object of address. So I'll just write add1 is equals to address. Now in this address, what I will provide, again, address is city is Bangalore. Then we have state, that is Karnataka, and then we have country, India. Very good. This is the thing. Now this is your Ajay. So let's execute this. Fine. It got executed. Now see, so address. Now what will happen? Who was saying working cell? Right. So what has happened here now, guys? Right, 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 right. Since you have made it a private variable, then what will happen? Everyone, if you have made it a private variable, in this case, what will happen? Quickly, how to deal with this? Now, right, right, this class private, right? Then, if you access or if you right call so address from student class, it will throw an error. It will throw an error. Throw an Now what we can do, guys? Right, 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 right. Very good. Many of you are answering it correctly. But I guess already, right. Sada has answered it correctly. But what is the solution now? What is the solution? What is the solution? Access the variable using class name. Access the variable using class name. How? How? So just copy this again, right? I will copy this, right? So here in this case, self.address.ct, what I can do? I can add the class name. So how to add the class name? Something like this, address ct, right? And now let's see what will happen. This is also a trick, let's say, because I'm also not sure now what will happen. Let's see it what happens, right? So in this case, I have written address city. Now let's see what happens. So here I will just write a j, right? A j dot. What do you think, guys? What will happen now? What do you think, guys? What will happen? Do you think it will execute? Everyone, do you think it will execute quickly, right? Or it will give you an error? Because this is a very good point, right? Right. Right. Everyone, what do you think? This will execute or it will give you an error? Right. Right. This is very interesting. Actually, this should give you an error. Let's see it. Address object has no attribute address city. Why it is not address city? So first of all, I have just written like this, address city. So it should now, yeah, this is the correct thing because there was only one underscore. That's why I wanted to make sure. So it will give you an error, right? So it's not the solution actually. So I will write it here. What is the solution? Here I will just write, because this leads to, if you access the variable using class name, it will still throw an error. It will still throw an error. Then what is the solution? What is the solution? What is the solution then? Right, what is the solution? Then comes the concept of inheritance. So then comes the concept of inheritance. So now we have to see inheritance. Right. Right. 206093. 206093. 206093. ठीक है? में चलाएगा 15 मिनट में. अच्छा ठीक. So we have to now. हाँ भाई बोलो. भाई मीटिंग में हूँ, मैं बोला तुम्हें मैं करता हूँ बाद में फोन. मैसेज में. So 20609, what I'm saying. So basically now we are going to look at inheritance, right? So this is the problem. So what is the point here? Right, right, right. So here the pointer is you cannot access the private variable of the other class from outside the class. This is the understanding. So you cannot access the private variable of the other class from outside the class. This is the conclusion. Yes or no, everyone? Quickly. Yes or no, guys? You can access, you can address it. How? You can just write it something like this, uh, uh, you know, uh, setter or getter, using getter method. You can see that here using in the address method, but here you cannot do it. Right? Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Quickly. Right? Right. Now comes another thing, that is inheritance. Now using inheritance, we can do something that can make this thing easier. So now we will slowly move ahead towards inheritance, right? We'll move towards inheritance. But before going to inheritance, one thing that is very important here, one more thing that is very important, the class diagram. Right. The class diagram. So what is the class diagram for you know uh, aggregation? So class diagram for aggregation. So I will just write class diagram for aggregation. Class diagram for aggregation. So if you have to make a class diagram for aggregation, how can you make it? So for example, let's say this was your student. This was your student class, and something was there, student, and some method is there, and let's say this is your address, right? This is your address. Now to make a class diagram, what you have to do, draw a line like this, then show a diamond, something like this. Diamond simply means the aggregation, right? It simply means it has a relationship. So it says, right, it has a relationship. It has a relationship. So diamond simply means it has a relationship, or it is aggregation. Simple. So class diagram, right, right. Class diagram, class diagram of aggregation. Aggregation is nothing but diamond. Is it clear, everyone? Diamond. It is clear? Yes or no? Should I move ahead now with the inheritance? Inheritance is the now most important thing. That what we want to study. Right, right. Should we move ahead? Right, right. Should we move ahead, guys? Right. So I'm just take 5 minutes of break and then we will start with inheritance. Right. So I'll just take 5 minutes of break, guys, and then we'll start again with inheritance. Okay. Should we start now, guys, everyone? Yes or no? Quickly. Everyone, yes or no? Should we start? Okay. Okay. So let's start, guys. This is going to be more fun because this is something that we are going to study again. We were waiting for this topic, inheritance, right? So let's start and try to understand this in every detail possible, right? Right. So let's start with once check comment. What is the comment? I can access by using address, self-address setting. Okay, let me check it. Is if it is so, right? If it is so, address city, right? Address city, mm-hmm. Self.address city, self.address state, self.address address underscore city. Is it something wrong? Mm-hmm. Okay, address city. What I am doing wrong, guys, here? Right, right. One of the address. Okay, is it? Let me see. Okay, I'm able to access it. We can access the private variable of the other class from outside the class. Mm-hmm. Why it is so? What it is happened? There is something I am missing. Address city. Okay, I will come to this again. Once again, I will come back. I understood why it is happening so. Why it is happening so. So basically, what is happening here? Self.address address city. So we are accessing this variable directly. I have understood this what why it is happening. So right, you access the private variable of the class from outside the class using the class name. So let's say using the class name. I'm just writing it here. I will come back to this again once more. Right. Again, I will come back. Right. Right. Why I'm able to access this, I have understood it. You can access the variable using class name. I will show you why it is a problematic thing. So I'll just show you one thing. So what I'm going to do, so I'll show you to prove my point actually. So I'll prove it, right? Why it is a problem. So let's say here we have class student, self.name, self.gender, self.address equals to address. Now see what I'm going to do. So let's say here we have everything. Self city, self state, self country equals to country. Now, what I'm going to do, so let's say here is address 1. Now I am going to say, let's say address 1 dot hit tab. Country, state is there, right? So now it is going to be fun. So address 1 is there. And now let's say Ajay dot address gender name. So address is name gender. Okay. So now I will just put it. Name is there. Ajay. And let's say here Ajay, I will just put it. Name gender male, and then we have state. Okay, guys, I will come to that. So what happens? Ajay dot state. No, Ajay dot state. Okay. Address subject Ajay male dot state. So this is your student. This is a student. You cannot access the state because this is the variable of this. You don't have this variable. Okay. So basically, what happens? I will come to this again once more. I will come back to this. So basically, what happens? There is a point here. So basically, whenever you inherit, so it's not about the aggregation, right? It's about inheritance. I will show you one thing at a later stage. So don't worry about that. I will come to this again. So I'm just, as of now, removing this, right? I am just removing this and I will talk about inheritance. And then again, I will come back to this particular point, what I was trying to say. Okay. So let's start with the inheritance first, and then I will again come back. So don't need to worry about that. So first thing, right, why are we studying inheritance? The question is, why are we studying inheritance? Are we studying inheritance? So this is the first question. Why are we studying inheritance? Right, right. Again, we had aggregation. We can access the class variable, whatever you want to do, right? You have seen this. But why do we study inheritance? Anyone has any idea? Anyone has any idea why are we studying inheritance? Quickly. Anyone? Why are we studying inheritance, guys? Quickly. Right, 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 right. Because we are using objects so that we can access the private variable. That's fine. I'm asking another question, guys. Why are we actually using inheritance? I will come to this particular part. I will come to that. Right, right, right. No, we are able to access the private variable only because it's not due to object, because the thing you have written here, class name underscore underscore ct. So basically this private variable is always created by this name, and that's why you are able to access it directly. That's why. Right. But before that, why are we studying inheritance? Why do we need to study inheritance? Right. Right. So to inherit the properties, very good, fair enough, right? But if I have to say you a very simple thing, I can just simply say it that in society or as a nature, whatever you have seen, right, right, people tend to inherit everything, right? I have inherited from genes from my parents, right? Something like that, right? That is something, right? We do it, yes or no, guys, quickly. That is the understanding. We inherit something from our ancestors. So I have inherited, let's say, maybe I can say I have inherited uh, what to say, some genes, right? Something like that. In nature also, you will see a lot of things has been inherited from somewhere, right? What is the society? Our society, right? Right. If you see different era, or let's say uh, how we have developed so modern civilization as a modern civilization, because we have inherited something from, let's say, animals. We have inherited something, let's say, something we have inherited from plants, right? And that's why we are surviving, right? Something like that. So the whole idea is inheritance means we actually inherit some characters, some properties, some attributes, right? So by design we inherit things from society or nature, society in nature or nature. So when Python was being developed, people thought, why not have inheritance here as well? Because we also understand that in Python everything is an object. That's the understanding, right? Right. So what is the biggest benefit of this? Biggest benefit biggest benefit, right? Biggest benefit, right? Right. Biggest benefit of inheritance, right? Biggest benefit of inheritance is code reusability. Code reusability, right? I will give you an example, very easy example. Again, so let's say you are a student, right? Inheritance. Why inheritance? Inheritance, why? Right. So let's say you are a teacher, sorry, you are a student, right? Right. You are a teacher. I am a teacher. What I am saying, you are a teacher, you are a student. So let's say you are a student, I am a teacher. Very easy, right? Now, let's say this is a career craft portal. Yes or no? Career craft portal. Everyone, right? Now, what will happen? You will all. So let's say I will log in. So first of all, as a student, you will register. You will log in, right? Then you will enroll the course. Enroll the course, right? Enroll the course, enroll the course, enroll the course. You will enroll in the course, and then you will start studying. This is something that you will do. Yes or no? Quickly. This is something that you will do, right? Right. As a teacher, what I will do? I will register. I will log in, right? And then maybe what I will do? I will create a course, provide you assignment, provide assignment, right? So now see it carefully, provide assignment, right? Provide assignment. See it very carefully. This is a student class. This is a teacher class. This is going to be fun. Now, do you see something common in both the class, everyone? Do you see something common in both the class? Quickly. Do you see something common in both the class? Right. What is the common thing in both the class? What? So can I say this register and login is both the same class? Is common in both the class? Quickly guys, you have to think it. This is how you have to make or you have to design a website. You have to think it. Don't you think guys register and login is common in both the class? Yes or no? Yes or no everyone? So can I make another class? So I'll make another class that is user, and I will put in this user class something register, right? And login. I can just put it, right? Right? And then what I can do? I can put, I can have this. This can be a parent class. This can be a parent class, and I can have two child class, a student class, and then child class. Sorry, teacher class. Teacher class. This will be your child 1. This will be your child 2. Everyone agrees to this or not? Yes or no? Quickly. Right, right. So what you can do? You can either register or log in, whatever you want to do. Right. You will be a user at that point of time. Based on the nature of registration, based on the nature of login, you can now access the method of a student or you can access the method of a teacher. Now, did you understood what is the true application of inheritance? Yes or no, guys? Because people actually understands inheritance, but when it comes to practice, they don't, they are not able to use it. That's the problematic. So first you have to understand the concept what is inheritance. Anyway, your aggregation is never used. You will not find aggregation being used because I will come to back to that particular point again. But inheritance you can use in this way. Now, have you understood the use case of inheritance? Why? Right? A student and teacher, both class, both class, both class can have register, register and login in common, in common, login in common. Then you can make, you can make another class, user, and make child class, sorry, make a student class and teacher class, teacher class as child class of user parent class. Clear everyone? Yes or no? Use case is clear? Quickly. Yes or no, guys? Right, 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 right. So now moving ahead, moving ahead. Now if I define inheritance, what is inheritance, guys? Quickly, what is inheritance? So can I say refers to the process of child class receiving 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 the properties of parent class, receiving the characteristics of characteristics of parent class. What are those characteristics? I will come to that. I will come to that. But as of now, I'm just using characteristics. There are a lot of things still left, right? What characteristics? So I will talk about that as well. Not a problem. But is it clear, everyone? So far, so good, right? Right? Yes or no? This is a definition of inheritance. Can I say this? Right. Now, what is the syntax? Syntax. I will talk about syntax as well. Right. Right. So syntax is very easy. First, you can make a base class. Let's say base class. This is your base class. Then again, let's say this is your pass. Now, if you want to inherit anything of this base class, then you can just write class, something like this, class, class, derived class, derived class, derived class, and in the bracket you can just write base class. Done. Base class. Done. Nothing else. Now you can just pass it. So let's say you want to pass, you want to pass. This is the way you inherit. Right? This is the way you inherit. But before diving deep into this, right? Before diving deep into this, why inheritance is necessary? Because the code is reusable. Right? Why? Because there is a concept in programming called don't repeat. Don't repeat yourself. Don't repeat yourself. Right? That is called as dry. So code should not be repeated. Simple. Code should not be repeated. Code should not be repeated. A very good coder is that coder, right, which doesn't repeat the code again and again. Right? Repeated. Right. Right. So this is the meaning of dry. But anyway, this is the complete understanding. This is the theory part. Now we will go to the implementation and we will see a very good implementation. Right. Right. We'll see a very good implementation. Right. Because we have to also understand the concept. Right. So we are going to understand the concept as well. So first thing. So let's say I will make a class teacher. So let's say class teacher. So we have class teacher. I am giving you this example. Okay. So class teacher. Right. So in class teacher, what we can have? So can I say def, right? Right. Can I say what to do? So let it be teacher. First of all, I will not go with teacher. I will come to the teacher at a later stage. I will go with a very easy class. So let's say I will go with a very easy class, maybe, so that you can understand things first, and then we can move ahead slowly. So let's say I will move ahead with the class user. So let's say class user. So we had a discussion that user can be both student and both can be teacher. I don't want to go a user can be both student and teacher, and I just show you two inheritance. If you know in the first go itself, I will go slowly. I will reach to that point slowly. So let's say this is a class user. Now in this class user, so we can have init first. So we are having init. Then I will just put self. Now in this self you can just have the name or whatever you want to write. So self dot name. So let's say whatever name you want to put. So let's say I want to put some name, maybe Ajay, and then self dot designation. Designation I will put is like as a teacher. So teacher. So let's say I will put it like a teacher. Very good, not a problem. Now inside this we will be having def login. So you want to log in, right? You want to log in, so I can just put self, and then here I will put it print, 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 you are logging in. So let's say you are logging in. You are logging in. Logging in. Very simple. So far so good, guys. Clear? Yes or no? So this is your class user. Here we have self.name Ajay, self.designation is teacher, login, you are logging in as a teacher. So let's I will add it this like this also as a teacher. So far so good, everyone? Yes or no? Everyone, quickly. Right, right, right. Weapon says name and teacher not need to use as a argument. You want to use, you can use it. I'm not using it. I'm just fixing it because I want to show you how to use inheritance. Right. Now moving ahead. So now let's say we have class. Now here I will make a class teacher. See, this is a class teacher, and now so this is called as class user. This will become as your right base class. So this is your base slash parent class. This is your base/parent class. Now here, right, I will just write child class. So this is your teacher, and here I will inherit from user. So let's say user. Very simple. Now here I will just write def again init. So now init we can have a teacher ID. So let's say here I will just write self, and here I can just write TID. So teacher ID is equals to some numbers. Let's say here I will just write 101. Very simple. TID. Now, next method, def create course. Create course, because as a teacher, I want to create the course. So self. Now, create the course, self, and here I will just write print. Please create a course on data science. Please create a course on data science. Course on data science. Very easy, right? So far, so good, guys, everyone. Right? Right? Yes or no? We are going with the same thing, whatever we have studied in the theory. I wanted to have some different flavor, but I cannot inherit, two child class in one go in the starting itself. That's why I didn't made a student class. I will come to that as well. But as of now, this is clear. Yes or no, everyone? Yes, self.tid. 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 Is it clear, everyone? So far, anyone has any questions? Anyone has any questions till now? Now guys, let's move ahead. So this I will execute. Now I am going to make an object of a user. So let's say user. So this is a user. Maybe I will just write A is equals to some user. Right. Now I am going to write, say it carefully. S is equals to student. S is equals to student. I am just writing like this. Very good. So here, sorry, I have to write teacher, right? Why I'm writing student. So here teacher. So S is equals to teacher. Let's make a T. So A is equals to user and T is equals to teacher. I have made it. Now let's hit tab A dot. So here you see designation, you see login, you see name. Clear, guys, everyone? Right? Right. So here you see designation, you see login, you see name. So what is happening, guys? A is an object of which class? This is a user class. Yes or no? Everyone? Yes or no? Right? Right? Everyone, guys, everyone. Right? Everyone. So now let's try to see this. A dot. Maybe I will just write name. So let's say name. So name is Ajay. A dot. Hit tab. Here you can just see login. So let's say login is a function. You are logging in as a teacher. A dot. Let's say A dot. Here you just can have designation. Designation. Then you will find is a teacher. Now if you hit T dot, right? So what you see here? Create course, login, and TID. So let's say TID. If I just click it, so TID. Now if you see T.TID, you see 101. Then we have create course, T.create course. So if you just do T.create course, then here you will get that you are, please create a course on data science. Right. Now again, if you just do T dot, hit tab, right? We have login, TID, create course. But one thing, are you able to see that I am not getting name and designation? This is something that I wanted to show you at the time of aggregation, but actually I, intermixed the concept. Anyway, aggregation I don't use that much, but anyway, I intermixed the concept at that point of time. So are you able to see that here, if you write T dot name, what will happen? Teacher object has no attribute name. Are you able to see this? Right, right. Though this teacher has actually inherited everything from the user. Are you able to see this? Right. Teacher is inheriting from user, but you are not able to see the attribute name. Right. You are not able to see the name attribute or the designation attribute here. Think it carefully, guys. This is a logical flaw. Logical flaw. You have to understand this. Now, let's say you are saying, right, a user can be a teacher. A user can be a teacher. You have all the information about the teacher. Then why not you can have the information of the username, that will be the teacher name. If you have understood this question, then you will understand the concept, what I am trying to explain. So as per this logic, what we have coded here, we have coded that a user can be both a teacher or a student. I have not coded the logic of a student because of the obvious reason. I wanted to show you first very basic inheritance. So a user can be a teacher. Everyone is clear? A user can be a teacher. Everyone is clear? Basic things first. A user can be the teacher. Yes or no? Quickly. A user can be a teacher. Basic things first. A user can be a teacher. Everyone is clear? A user can be a teacher. Everyone is clear? Right. A user can be a teacher. Right. Is it clear? Right. Very good. A user can be a teacher. Now, if you are making an object of a teacher, if you are making the object of a teacher, don't you think you have also the right to know what was the name and designation of the user? I will repeat the statements again, right? I will write it here. I will just write it here, right? I will write it here, right? A user can be a teacher. When you are making object of a teacher, don't you think don't you think you have you have the right of you have the right to know you have the right to know the information or the details of the user that is the name that is the name and that is the name and designation, and actually it will be designation, actually it will be actually actually it will be the name and designation of a teacher of the teacher of the teacher. See this statement, think it as much as many times you want to, but this is the important thing. This actually I wanted to explain you at that point of time, but with aggregation I was not able to do that. Obviously, if I just do some uh, here and there, I can show you that point at that point of time as well. But yes, this is the understanding. Have you understood the problem here? Yes or no? Quickly, guys. Right, right, right. Yes or no, guys, quickly. Everyone, have you guys understood this? Right. Please show the code. Someone is saying, please show the code. Please see the code. If you want, I will just copy paste it as well. But have you guys understood the problem with this? Right. Yes or no? Quickly. Right. Right. Yes or no? Right. 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 So now that's the problem. So I will leave this problem here itself. So details of the user, that is the name and designation, actually it will be the name and designation of the teacher. So you are not able to access this. But I will come to this again. But as of now, you have understood how to inherit the class. Right. Right. Yes, Sajil. Teacher है तो उसका details जानना है. Right. Right. Very simple. Right. So here you are not able to access the teacher detail. Right. Even after you have inherited this. Right. This is the problem. But I will come to this. But what are the things that can be inherited. I will discuss everything, but this is called as single inheritance. So what is the solution? We'll come to this. Solution, we will come to this. We will discuss later. We will discuss later. I will come to this, but this is the problem. Actually, I wanted to just show quickly. Right. Right. Yes, Sada. Very good. We have to call explicitly from the child class constructor. Very good. Very good. This is the understanding that I will be discussing. There will be a complete superclass. After inheritance, we will discuss about that. Not superclass. So basically, you have to use the word super. Right. I will come to that. I will come to that. How to do that? I will come to that. But this is the understanding. This is the problem that we have. That we have. Right. Now moving ahead, guys. Now moving ahead. Right. 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 But before that, I will just give you one pointer. Right. 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 Here, I will just write it here. One pointer. If child class has a constructor, has a constructor. If the child class has a constructor, then child class constructor will not be executed. Right. 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 Sorry. Uh, then the parent class constructor will not be executed, and this is what actually happening here. So actually this is what happening here. So forget this user. So if you just forget this user, because you are talking in terms of teacher. So let's say you got to the teacher is this, right? I will just remove this, remove this. So t dot tid, t dot create course, but you will not find t dot t dot t dot t dot anything here, name and designation of the constructor. You will not find this name and designation. You will not find this. Did you guys understood this? Right? But there is one trick, one more thing, right? Right. If the child class has a constructor, then the parent class constructor will not be executed, right? One more thing, there's one more observation. I will show you. This is very interesting. So first of all, t dot course create course, t dot hit tab. So let's say login. So I'll just log in here. So you are logging in as a teacher. You can do, but method is accessible. So here let's say I will write, but method of parent class is accessible. Don't get confused on this. One more thing, this is going to be more interesting. I know we are at ultimate level of depth, but this is very important. So t dot name, I will just remove this. Why it is there? So here now, okay, t dot name, it should throw an error. T dot name, it should throw error. It should throw an error, right? One more thing, right? What if, right? What if what if there is there is no constructor in child class? This is again very interesting. So till here we have seen that we have a constructor in child class. So if you have constructor in child class, the constructor of parent class will not be executed. But what if there is no constructor in child class? So let's say I will forget this child class constructor. Then in that case, what will happen, guys? So let's say again I made an object of teacher. So let's say this is t is equals to teacher, and now see what will happen. So t dot hit tab, create course login. So again you are not able to access. So let's say create course. Now if you see, please create a course on data science. T dot name, if you see, this is Ajay. T dot see, t dot designation, see here designation. Now you are able to access this. Did you understood this? So when you are hitting t dot tab, you will see everything here, right? So I'll just execute it again so that this is very much clear to all of you, that here t dot login, obviously the methods were already accessible. But if you don't have constructor in the child class, then parent class constructor will be executed and will be executed and will be executed and you can access the attribute of parent class. This is very, very interesting. And actually, when I had learned this while coding, right? So I was doing some code, right? And it was like 2, 3 a.m. And I was coding. And then I had observed this at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. It was like in 3, 4 years back, but I was like surprised to see this. Actually, this can happen. Actually, this happens. And then I got to introduce to something else that is called as super, that already Sada has mentioned it. We'll come to that, but this is really interesting. If you are understanding this, then you will find it very, very interesting. If you are not understanding this, then you might find it very boring. But did you guys got it? Yes or no? How many of you got it? How many of you are now like, I am done, this is something not getting in my head? Did you guys understood this, or it is you are done? Everyone, right? 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 Did you guys understood this? Right. Very simple point I am trying to make, and very important question for interview. If you have a constructor in the child class, then the constructor of parent class will not be executed. If you don't have constructor of a child class, then only the constructor of parent class will be executed. Yes or no? Right? 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 I will repeat it again. Very simple. I will make a statement. Everyone has to note it down. If child class has constructor, has a constructor. Constructor means init. If child class has a constructor, then parent class, parent class constructor will not be executed. Will not be executed. Will not be executed. Executed. Right? If a child class, if child class has not a constructor, has not a constructor, 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 then parent class constructor will be executed. What is the solution? I will come to that. Will be executed. But this is actually, if someone wants to understand the depth of oops, then they will ask the question around this. Right? Is it clear? Right? Is it clear? Yes or no? Everyone, is it clear? So far, so good, right? Everyone, right? Solution is multi-inheriting. I will come to that. So you can directly use super to get the solution, to get the, you know, parent class information constructor whenever you will be having a child class constructor. I will come to that. I will come to the solution. Don't worry about the solution. But this is something very, very important that you should know. So guys, how are you finding the level of depth? Okay, so now moving ahead. So one thing, what are the things that are inherited? What gets inherited? What gets inherited? Always remember guys, what gets inherited? First, constructor. Constructor will get inherited. Already we have seen this. Then non-private attributes. Remember this. Non-private attributes and methods. This is again another example. So if you have made any attribute in a parent class that is private, you cannot inherit. Right, 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 right. You cannot inherit. Simple, right? You cannot inherit if something is private. That is obviously we have seen this at a lot of many times. So, right, right. Child class can't access the private member. Very simple. So I'll just write it here. Child class, one more pointer. Child class can't access the private members, members of the parent class. This is the understanding. Clear? This is the second pointer. But how to do this? Right? Right? Right. How to do this? Right. So we have a syntax. Right? Right. What is the best way? How to do that? Right? We have a way to do. Right? Right. Right. We have a way to do this. How can we solve this problem? We have some way to do this. But we will come to that slightly after some time. So now moving ahead. So right, how to how to how to how to inherit or how to access constructor of both parent and child class. Right, right. We will see later. We will see later using super. So I'll just show you. Don't worry about that. I will come to this. But as of now, hopefully you have understood so far. Now coming to the types of inheritance. Types of inheritance. So we were actually seeing what is the inheritance, and in inheritance course we have understood few peculiarity about inheritance, how to use that. So one of the application I showed you, this is the exact application that you can make it. This is the way you can use it. Right, 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 right. So now let's try to see this again. So types of inheritance. The first one is single level inheritance. Single level inheritance. So what is this single level inheritance? Already we have discussed this. So this is your single level inheritance. Single level inheritance. So this is your single level inheritance. What is the meaning of this? Single level inheritance simply means single level inheritance. What is the meaning of this single level inheritance? It's very easy. One parent, right? Right? One child. One child. This is your single level inheritance. Right? So you can simply write it here. What is single level inheritance? One parent, one parent, one parent, and one child. Very simple. One child. This is your single level inheritance. This is your single level inheritance. Right? So for example, let's say, right, right, right. Let's say you have a class father. So let's say one class father. So class father, very simple. Now you have a definition of father property. So let's say father property. So father property. So let's say self. Now I can just simply say print. This is a father property. This is a father property. Very simple. Now let's say you are son. So class son. How to inherit the father property? First write the derived class name, that is son, and then put here father. So father. So class son father. Very easy. Now here son has job. So let's say def job. So here I can just write self and then print print print. This is a son property. This is a son property. Or let's say this is a son's job. Right, right. Son's job. And now if you see here, right, here if you make an object of son, then you will realize that s is equals to son, and here s dot, if you hit tab, son has access to both father property and the job as well. So s dot job as well. So here I can write the comment, right, right, that this is a son's job. But when you make an object of father, in that case what will happen? Let's say you made an object of father, that is your f. F will have only his property, father's property. Just hit tab, father property, but not the son property. So f will not have the son's job, that is job. Let's say it will throw you an error. So father will have own property, only its own, only its own method. Son will access, son will access both its own method and method, father's method. Very simple here. And generally it happens. I don't know outside India how it happens, but inside India, but in India, what happens, if father is a high earning man and I am a son of a rich father, then I will all inherit my properties, all inherit property of my father. Right, right. This is actually inheritance in real world, right? Yes or no? Everyone agrees to this. This is what actually happens, right? Right, right. So here you have all the method of son and method of father will be accessible to the son, but vice versa is not true. So you can simply write one thing. Always remember, child class is very, very powerful. Child class is very, very powerful. Child class is very, very powerful. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Right, 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 right. Yes or no, guys? Quickly, everyone. Understood this? Quickly, guys. Quickly. Everyone understood this? Right? This is called as single inheritance. Everyone understood this? Right, 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 right. Should I move ahead, guys, everyone? Should I move ahead? Should I move ahead? Right, right. Very good. So let's try to move ahead. Right, right. So next type of inheritance that we have is, before that, no one has any comments here. Okay, no one has any other comments. So let's say, actually there is one more concept here, right? Right. But I'm thinking to teach here or at polymorphism. So okay, let's discuss here only. So child class is very powerful. We have understood this. Now let's make another example. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So let's move ahead now. Let's move ahead. So now this was your child uh, single level inheritance that we have understood. Now one more thing. There is a very big concept here, and actually uh, we are going to learn it again. You don't need to worry about that. But let's say we have a class. So we have a class fruit. We have a class fruit. Let's try to understand this. Now here we have def fruit info. So let's say fruit info. This is your parent class. So I will just write it here self. What is happening? Mhm. Okay, now it is okay. So let's say here print. So we have print. Now here I will just write inside the parent class. Inside the parent class. See it carefully. This is going to be more fun. So fruit info inside the parent class. Now we have class apple. So this is apple. So what is apple? Apple is a type of fruit. So it will inherit some property from the class fruit. Very good. It will inherit some property from the class fruit. And let's say there can be a fruit info here as well. Fruit info here as well. Self. And then what I can do? Print inside the child class. Inside the child class. child class, and then again let's say def apple info, and then I will just write self again, self, right? And then we will be having print inside the child class. Child class. So far so good, guys, everyone. Yes or no? So here we have a parent class, we have a child class. Now inside the parent class we have a method called fruit info, and inside the child class also we have a fruit info. Now let's execute this. Now let's make an object of apple. Apple. So let's say here apple is there. So a is equals to apple. Now if you hit tab, a dot hit tab, what do you see, guys? Apple info, fruit info. Yes or no? But answer me a very simple question. So apple info, it is fine. You will get inside the child class. This method is executed. This is very obvious. But a dot tab, right? Which fruit info will be executed? This fruit info will be this one, or this will be this one. What do you think, guys? Everyone. Right. Right. No. Weapon, no. Weapon is wrong. No. Apple class. Okay. Sorry. Weapon is correct. Weapon is correct. Apple class. So basically, if you execute this, this will execute of a child class inside the child class. So here child class is very powerful, and this is called as method overriding. I will come to this topic again in polymorphism. That's why I was thinking that I should not discuss this or not, but let's say we have discussed. So child class is very powerful, and this is called as method overriding. Clear? Yes or no? Yes or no? Right? Very good. Should I move ahead, guys, now? No doubts so far? Easy? Okay. Now moving ahead, we are going to have something different now. Second type of inheritance, multi-level inheritance. What is this multi-level inheritance? So we are going to see something like that. Whenever we have multiple level, how? So let's say here grandfather, father, son, great great grandfather, great grandfather, and so on. So it can be infinite this side, this can be infinite this side. This is called as multi level inheritance. Multi level inheritance. Did you guys got it? Yes or no? Everyone. Right? This is your multi-level inheritance. Earlier, one father's son, right? One father's son, that was single level inheritance. But when we have multiple father's son, that we call it as multi-level inheritance. So, infinite possibilities, infinite possibilities, 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 possibilities of levels. That's it. Got it? Yes or no? Quickly, yes or no? This is your multi-level inheritance. Right? Right. Now, let's try to understand this. Again, class grandfather, class grandfather. Now, what I am going to do? So let's say here in this class father def grandfather property. So gf property. Okay, let's say I will write grandfather, or let's say property grandfather, right? So now here I will just put self, and then I can just write print. This is a grandfather property. grandfather property. Very easy. This is a great or grandfather property. So now we will have, let's say, class father. This is a class father. And now here, instead of property grandfather, now we can have property of father. Father. And finally, we will be having class son. Class son. Then I can just have def of son. 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 Now this is the son property. This is the father property. Now I'll answer me a very simple question again. Then I will just write property. Then property. Answer me a very simple question. Now in this inheritance, okay, I haven't written something like this. Father will be grandfather, grandfather, and then here son will have inherited from father. Now answer me a very simple question. If I make an object of son, what methods will be accessible to son? Quickly, right? What methods will be accessible to son? Everyone. Will he be able to access, right, father property and grandfather property? The answer is yes. So just hit tab. As dot hit tab, property father, grandfather, son property, everything he will be able to access. So let's say property of property of grandfather. But the moment you make an object of father, right, will it have a property of son, father? Do you think, guys? F is equals to father, right? Do you think it will have, father will have the property of son as well? Yes or no? Answer it correctly, quickly. Do you think so? The answer is no. Just hit tab. It will have only its own property and grandfather property. That's it. That's the whole idea. Again, it is proved that the child class is very, very powerful. Clear? Yes or no? Right? Yes or no, guys, quickly. Right? Right. Can we add more than one parent class? I'm coming to that, Santanu. That is the next part. Next thing that we are going to study. So this was your your multi-level inheritance. Now we can have multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance. This is not allowed in Java, right? Java doesn't allow this. Java doesn't allow, right? Doesn't allow. But this is going to be again fun, right? So again, think it in this way. Do you inherit property from only your father, or you also inherit property from your mother? Everyone. What do you think, guys? You inherit property from both of them, right? Right. Yes or no? Right. So this is called as multiple inheritance. So I will just write one child class may inherit, may inherit from multiple parent class, multiple parent class, multiple parent class. Right, right. So now how to do that? Very easy. What we can do? So let's say here again I can have class, maybe father, and then let's say def method, or let's say father property, property, then self, something like this. So print, this is a father property. So let's say this is a property, father property, right? Now moving ahead, so this is your class father. Now we can have a class mother as well, class mother. Inside this class mother, we will be having def class, def mother property, mother prop. So mother prop, and here we are going to have self. Now paint. This is a mother property. This is the mother property. Very simple. So we have now father property, mother property. Now how to inherit from both the parent class? So you will make class son, and inside this you will write both father and mother, right? And number of class you want to write, whatever you want to write, you can just put it: father, mother, great grandfather, great grandmother, whatever you want to put. Many of the people now get confused, but let's say here father and mother is there. Now what I will do, def son property, son prop. So def son prop, and here I will just write self, and let's say this is a son property, this is son property, this is son property. Very simple. Now make a child class. Now object, so son's object. So here I will just write s1 is equals to this son. Now if you just hit tab, s1 hit tab, so it has access to son property, mother property, and father property. It will get everything. It will get everything. Yes or no? Quickly. Right. Right. Santanu says it's good. Very good, Santanu. But did you guys understood this? Everyone? Easy to understand, very intuitive to understand. Yes or no? Right? Very intuitive to understand. Is it clear, everyone? Should I move ahead? Right? Right? Should I move ahead? Right? 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 In multi-level, Sajil, in multi-level, there were no two parent class. In multi-level, if you see, there was only one parent class. See, one parent class each time. Okay? Now moving ahead. This is the understanding. But there is one more thing. What? You just understood method overriding. Here we have understood method overriding. Right? Now there is one more thing. So let's say in this example, what I'm going to do, let me show you one thing. This is called as diamond problem. Very famous problem. This is called as diamond problem. Right? 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 What is this diamond problem? Right? So here let's say you have property. Let's say here you have property, right? And here let's say you have again property. Right? Right? So you have three class: father, mother. Then again you have son. Son inherits from father and mother. Now let's say you make an object of son. Right? Right? You make an object of son. Let's say A. This is your son. Now if you hit tab A dot, then you get property. But now answer me, which property will be executed? Of father, of mother, or of son? Everyone. Right? Everyone has to answer this. Right? 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 Very good. Many of you are answering it correctly. This is a son property. Very good. That's not a problem. But now, no, 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 no. First argument, I'm coming to that, people. I'm coming to that. Now, this is going to be more interesting. Right? Now I am seeing, right, this mother, or instead of mother, I can, okay, let it be mother. So in this mother is actually now, right, right, inheriting, or let's say you don't have this property. So let's say you don't have property. So you just remove this. So this is your past. There is nothing inside this. Now answer me, what is the property that you will find here? What is the property you will find here? Now this is the case paper. If you execute this, you will find that this is a father property. Right? But what if you will put mother first and then you put father? What will happen in this case? See, this is a mother property. So now this father is changed to mother. So this is called as diamond problem, and it is solved. It's solved using MRO method. It is solved. It is solved. It is solved using MRO method. And what is MRO method? Very easy. MRO method. So basically, it is method resolution order. Method MRO means method method resolution order. Resolution order. Order that will be executed, which means it states that that it states that method will be executed. That method will be executed, which comes first, while inherit. Very easy inheriting. Very easy, and there should be no any if and buts. But this is the understanding. So here I will also comment, since mother is inherited first, that is executed. That is executed. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Quickly. Yes or no? Very easy. Not a problem. Right. 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 Now, guys, let's move ahead. We have another type of inheritance, hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance. What is this hierarchical inheritance? Right, right. One parent class and multiple child class. So this means one parent class and multiple child class. Multiple child class. What is the meaning of this? Right. So for example, let's say class vehicle. So let's say we have class vehicle, then def info, we have something called self. Now inside this print, I will just write this is a vehicle. This is a vehicle. Now try to understand. This is a very important use case. Now there can be multiple type of vehicles. One can be a car, one can be a truck. So now I will just make class car which inherit vehicle, because vehicle will have some property like four tires, one engine, something like that, which is true for either car or for truck, doesn't matter. So class car vehicle. Now in this case, let's say def car info, and then let's say maybe self, and then if you want to put any variable name, you can put it, or I can just, okay, let me put it. So self name, and you can just write print, this is the car info. So this is a car info. So this is car info. This is car info. So here you will find car info, or let's say name. This is the idea. Now we can have also, right, right, truck as a vehicle. So class truck, and then again it will inherit from vehicle. So one parent class but multiple child class. So this is the understanding. So here def truck info, right, truck info, and this time I will just again write whatever I want to put here. Let's say self and name, and then here I will just write print truck info, print truck info, truck info, truck info, and then just write name. Done. So this is the example of hierarchical inheritance. So for example, let's make a object of car. So let's say this is a car. Now let's say this car, you can put any name. So maybe let's say Mercedes, right? So this is your first car. This is your first car. So C is equals to this. Okay. Okay. Okay, understood. So this is your car, and now what will happen? So this is your car. Now inside this car, I want to call car info. So car info, and then you pass it Mercedes. So this is car info Mercedes. Now let's say you want to have, vehicle info also here. So you will just use C dot. So if you do C dot, then you will find there is also info. This is vehicle info method. So this is a vehicle. So car is able to access vehicle. Now truck will also be able to access vehicle. So I'll show you. So let's say truck. So we have now again the class truck. So truck, I will make an object of truck. So this is an object of truck. So maybe this is T is equals to truck, and then T dot. So first of all, T dot, maybe if you hit tab, okay. So T equals to truck. What I'm doing? Oh, truck is the vehicle. Truck is taking vehicle, right? Okay, I have not written here class. Sorry, yes. So this is your T equals to truck. And now if you hit tab T dot truck info, so I'll just write T truck info, maybe let's say Ford, and now truck info Ford, and now T dot, you can also have info. So this is a vehicle. So both of this class is able to access the parent class information, right? Is it clear, everyone? I know this is a lot of coding today. I can completely understand, but the nature of the class is like this. So this inheritance, actually, these are the very basic, very easy concepts, right? Very easy concepts, not a very big deal or not a very hard concepts. You might be saying this, right? Now, the last type of inheritance is hybrid inheritance. Finally, hybrid inheritance. What is this hybrid inheritance? It can have multiple types of inheritance. Multiple types of inheritance. Multiple types of inheritance in one inheritance. Very easy. So let's try to know multiple types or combination of inheritance here that we are going to look at. So again, what I will do, I will just copy this, right? Let's not rewrite everything. So class vehicle. So let's say class vehicle is there. This is your vehicle info. Then we have car, which is vehicle. Then we have truck, vehicle. Then we can have sports car. So let's say class sports car. So this time I will just have sports car. So now class sports car, which is inheriting from both car and vehicle. So car and vehicle. Because a sports car can also be a vehicle and a type of car. So this is the understanding. So now def, here you can just write sports info, and I can just put it here self. Then I can put here print. This is a sports car info. So this is a sports car info. Very simple. This is a sports car info. Now just re-execute this. Now you can make a sports car object. So let's say when you make a sports car object, something like that, as is equals to this, then if you hit tab as dot, so you have this information, car info sports info. So this is the understanding. So here what is happening here, this is very simple. First what you have, so if you have first vehicle, from vehicle we have car and we have truck, and then from car and vehicle you are having a sports car. Something like this is happening, right? You can have some multiple information from truck as well, but as of now we have created this type of. Now if I have to summarize now everything in inheritance, then I will summarize like this. So types of inheritance. So if I have to summarize everything in types of inheritance, Then I will start with first single level. Single level is nothing but one parent, one parent, one parent, one parent, one parent, one child. Very simple. Then we have second, multi-level, multi-level, right? Parent, child. Vipin says why we need to add vehicle to sports car, because vehicle is a parent class, right? Right. Okay. When already inhabited, you can add or you cannot add. Doesn't matter, right? Just to show you example, I just showed you that, right? Right. Since vehicle has already, been used with the car, because car has inherited the vehicle, you can just not use that also. So parent, child one, child two, something like that, child three, and something like that. This is a multi-level. This is your multi-level inheritance. Then you have multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance. So parent one, parent two, and this is inherited by child. This is your multiple inheritance. And here you get diamond problem. Diamond problem. Right. Then we have hierarchical. Hierarchical. Right? Hierarchical. So we have one parent and multiple child. C1, C2, let's say C2, and let's say C3. This is your hierarchical. And finally, hybrid. So you have hybrid. What is hybrid? So let's say here one parent and then maybe two child. So this becomes your hierarchical, right? This is the first thing. Then maybe let's say here and here we can have multiple. So here you have multiple inheritance, and maybe let's say one more single inheritance. Single inheritance. Whatever you want to make, you can just make as many as things you want. This is your this is your different types of inheritance. Is it clear, everyone? Anyone has any question in any type of inheritance? Please let me. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Right, right. Is it clear, everyone? Different types of inheritance. Right, right, right. Kiran says, sir, in real time, mostly it will be hybrid inheritance. Yes, in real time, right. You have to keep track of where is the inheritance happening, and that too logically. Right, right. Now, one thing more in inheritance. What is the class diagram? So, class diagram here. Class diagram is easy. So, let's say here it is a parent class. Parent class. This is your attributes and these are the methods. This is your child class. How to show this? Again, parent and attribute. So what you have to do? You have to start from this and just write like this, a triangle. A triangle represent inheritance. A triangle represent inheritance. Inheritance. A triangle represent inheritance. Right? 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 A diamond represents aggregation. Sahil says, can you explain hybrid in short? Hybrid simply means any type of inheritance that you have studied earlier. Any type of inheritance. Hierarchical, multiple, single, all together. You can just understand that way. Is it clear? Oh, sorry. I guess now I have got some cold. Okay. Is it fine? Mhm. Yeah, I am well. I am well. I am well. So everyone has understood so far. Quickly. Right. 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 So should I move ahead now? We have completed inheritance, but one thing is unanswered till now. One thing is unanswered till now. Right. One thing is unanswered. What if you guys remember? We have not discussed one thing. So let's say if you guys remember, we had something. Okay, so we have something like class. So method overriding example. Method overriding. One more example. One more example. To show. To show. So what to do in case of you know or let's say okay. What I will do. Method overriding. One more example to show the super keyword. Super keyword. So this super is actually not a method. You can just say it is a keyword. Right. So let's try to understand this. So let's say we have class laptop. So can I say we have a class laptop? So we have a laptop, right? Now in laptop, what we can have, guys, everyone, in laptop, we can have, let's say, dev init. Then we have self, right? Laptop, what can be the possible thing in the laptop? So laptop can have brand. Other thing, guys, can I say laptop can have price? Yes or no? Right? Laptop can have graphics. Graphics. Yes or no? Yes. This is your laptop class. Right? Right. So now here I will just write self dot brand is equals to brand. Self dot price is equals to price. Then self dot see it carefully, self dot graphics is equals to graphics. This is the thing, everyone agrees to this. Now we have, right, method overriding. One more example, super keyword and constructor access. Now here we have another method, def by and self, and then here I can just write print I am buying a laptop. I am buying a laptop. Very easy. So this is the understanding. I am buying a laptop. So buy laptop. So let's say buy laptop. Right? Right? Fine. Is it fine, guys? Everyone? Right? Right? Very good. This should not be a problem. Now I have another class. Right? So this was your laptop. So can I say, right? Right? Mm -hmm. Laptop is a class. So a tab is a type of laptop. Can I say this? Right. I'm just assuming. A tab is a shorter version of laptop. I'm just writing like this. Can I say this? Yes or no? Can I just put it like this way? So class tab is inheriting something from laptop. And now here I am just writing def, right? Again, buy. So instead of buy laptop, now I will put buy only, def buy. And then here I will just put self, self. I am saying print, I am buying a tab. I am buying a tab. This is the understanding. There should not be any if and but. This is very easy, right? Now again I will execute it. I will make an object of what? So let's say tab. So I have made an object of tab, right? Fine, not a problem. So first of all, this is for the first time you might be seeing inheritance with some attribute. So answer me. Will it execute or will it throw an error? Quickly. If I am saying tab, will it execute or will it throw an error? If I am making an object like this, t is equals to tab. What will happen in this case, guys? Everyone? Everyone? Right? What will happen? So let's try to execute this. It will throw an error. Why? This is very interesting, right? Right? It will throw an error. It will throw error. Why? I have already discussed. It will call the constructor of parent class. Yes or no? Right? And in parent class, you have to pass brand, price, and graphics. Right? Right. So now what will happen? So I'll just do one thing. I will print inside 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 laptop class. Now see the magic. See here. Okay, it is not printed because it is not being executed. First, you have to pass this. So it is throwing error here itself. So here I will just write t is equals to tab tab, right? Let's say t is equals to tab, and here what I can just provide. So maybe brand can be Lenovo. So let's say Lenovo, right? Lenovo. Then we have price. Price maybe Lenovo's tab are very, no, let's say 30K. And then we have graphics. Graphics can put anything. So let's say I will put AMD or NVIDIA, whatever I want to put. So let's say AMD. So this is your T. So inside laptop class. So what do you see guys here? The moment you are making an object of the child class, by default, this constructor runs. This is what I wanted to show you. Is it clear, everyone? This is inside laptop class. So when you make an object of a child class, then then when you make an object of child class, then by default constructor of parent class is run. Constructor of parent class is run if child class if child class doesn't have any constructor. Child class doesn't have any constructor. Clear? Yes or no, everyone? Yes or no? This already we have discussed. Now moving on. So let's say this is your T. But now the main thing here is, let's say you want to execute T dot. What are the methods you see? So here you have brand, you have buy, you have graphics, you have price. So buy is a method. So what do you think, guys? Which method will be executed here? This is also a buy. This is also a buy. Now which will it be executed? Everyone, right? Which will it execute? Right, 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 right. Quickly, which will it execute? Very good. So it will execute of a child class. So I am buying a tab. It will execute by method of the child class. This is the understanding. By method of the child class. Very good. Not a problem. But but what if I want to what if I want to also call method of parent class? By method of parent class. By method of parent class. In that case, what I can do? In that case, what I can do? Right? So in that case, you have a keyword called super. Use super keyword. Super keyword. Very easy. So now what you can do here, just write it here. Simply after this def by, you can simply write super and then just write dot by. So super will help you to access the method and attribute of this class. Super is the keyword. Now execute this. Now here, let's say I will be having T. I will just bring a T here. Now T is there. Now if you hit T dot tab, buy is there. Now execute this. Inside the laptop class, I am buying a laptop. I am buying a, sorry, I am buying a tab and I am buying a laptop. Did you guys got it? Right? Yes or no? Everyone? Right, right, right. Yes or no, guys, quickly. So this is how, so this is how, sorry guys, sorry. So let's take a 5 minutes break, or no, let's not take a 5 minutes break. I'm okay. So, so this is how, I don't know what is happening. Let's take a 2 minutes of break, okay? Okay guys, now I am back. Should we start guys now? Yes or no? Yes or no? Right, right. Okay. Thanks Vipan, thanks for the suggestion. Drink lukewarm water during long lecture. Yes, I will take care of that. So my highest record of taking a continuous lecture is 15 hours. I have taken continuous lecture of 15 hours, 5-10 minutes of break. But I don't know, I never faced this problem. So actually I am in North India. So I am at my hometown in Bhagalpur. And in Bangalore, there is relatively lesser cold as compared to North India. And I guess this cold is affecting. I feel like. Okay. But anyway, so let's move ahead, guys. Let's move ahead. Right, right. So this is your class laptop. Now the question is, right. Now the question is, can I also access this attribute using super? Can I also access the attributes attributes of the parent class using super? And that was the problem. If you guys remember, that was the problem. If you had a constructor of a parent class, you were not able to use the attribute of, sorry, right, remember the previous problem. If you have, if you have constructor constructor of child class, then you will not be able to you will not be able to access the data, or access the attribute of parent class. Everyone remembers this? Yes or no? We had already discussed this. Everyone agrees to this, right? Right. Everyone agrees to this or not? Quickly. This is something that we already had discussed. Now, can I access the attribute? So here, both of the above, or let's say above thing, can be solved. Above problem can be solved using super. Can be solved using super. Right? Using super. How? I'll just show you. So let's say here we have this. Uh, right. Right. So first thing, what I can do, let it be. I will just do. So let's say this is the thing. So inside tab, I am going to make another init here. So let's say here. I can just make another init, def init. So init, I can make here def init, and now what I can do, array def init, and what I can do here now, brand price graphic. So I will put it like this, brand price graphics. So brand price graphics. Now here, extra thing. Maybe let's say I will just write screen size. Screen size. Right? Obviously screen size can be there. Maybe something else. Let's say RAM can be there. Very RAM can be there. Now here what I am going to do. I will just write print. I will just print here. Inside laptop class constructor. I will just write here constructor. And this time I am just going to write inside tab class constructor. Very easy. Now see it carefully. This is going to be fun. Now what I am going to do, I will use the keyword super. This is super. Then to call a method, we had used super.by. See here, super.by. Similarly here, super.init, super.init, right? Super.init, right? Now this super dot underscore underscore init underscore underscore something like that. And then what does this init require? Init require price brand graphic. So I will put here everything like this, right? And then move ahead. Then I can just write self dot screen size is equals to screen size, screen size, screen size. Then I can have self dot RAM is equals to RAM. Done. Ideally, actually this should be kept at the end. While coding, many of the people you will find the people this is kept at the end. But let's say I am keeping it here, right? And then here I will just again write maybe, or let it be like this, or let's say print. I will use the like print inside the tab class constructor. I want to show you one thing. So this is the understanding, right? Vipan is saying some question. I will come to the question, Vipan. Let me finish this once, then I will come to that. So this is the understanding. Now let's say here I will now make a tab object. So let's say here I am going to make a tab object. So let's say here I can make a tab object. So I will just remove this. I don't need it here as of now because I'm going to show you something. So this is a tab object. Now in this tab object, what I need, I can just copy this Lenovo 30K AMD, whatever I want to put it. So let's say here I have put it here like this, and then here I can just put 16-inch and the RAM is let's say 4 GB. I'm just saying that this is RAM 4 GB or 6 GB. Now this is your tab. T is equals to this. Now see what is happening. Right? So now if you see inside tab class constructor, the moment you execute, the first thing is executed is the constructor of the child class. So inside tab class executed. Then super comes. Super is called. See beautifully how beautiful it is. Now super actually calls the init and it comes here inside laptop class constructor. So that's why you see inside laptop class constructor, and then again once it is done inside the tab class constructor. So beautiful. Now you can just hit t dot tab. So if you see now everything is there. Brand, you can see the brand also now. T dot whatever you want to see. Price, you can see price as well. Now every attribute of the class has been also been able to access this way using this super keyword. Is this clear? Yes or no? Right, right, right. Yes or no? So what is a super? So I can simply write it here. super is an inbuilt keyword, is an inbuilt function or keyword slash function, whatever you want to put it, right? Which is used to invoke invoke which is used to invoke parent class, parent class, method, and constructor. Now it completes a loop that we were trying to understand, that we were trying to discuss. Now this is completed. This is now a complete thing. Is it clear, everyone? Right. Weapon has question: if both the method have the same name in parent class and child class, we use super to access the parent class method. Yes, you can do so. Otherwise, by default, the child class method will be executed as child class is the most powerful one. But how can I access parent class method without child class method? So you can just have some getter method. Just call it a make it a getter method, something like that. So here inside this you are accessing this, right? So maybe you call it inside the init method. So you will be having an init similar to that. So just change this super dot by, done. If you just do so, you are done. You can access that way, right? But Santanu asked, but as if we already mentioned the attribute in parent class, why do we re-mention in child class? Don't re-mention it. I have just provided that a tab can also have brand, price, graphics similar to a laptop. If you want to put it, you can put it. Even if you just remove it, it doesn't matter. Right. Right. I mean both method executed, but I want to know, can I only parent class method? Yes, you can only execute parent class method while calling just make super dot by. That's it. Right? Super dot by. If you just do this, that will be executed the moment you call the tab or you make an object of tab method. That's it. Right. That's it. This is the understanding. Anyone else has any other questions to ask, please go ahead and ask the questions. Is it clear, everyone? Yes or no? Yes or no? Right. 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 If you mention the brand graphics child, it will show. If you mention the brand price graphics and child, it will show. It will show of child class. Until unless you will call the super class, it will not show anything of the parent class. Right. And one more thing, it should not have the init. So child class should not have init. So if child class has not init, then by default it will execute the init of parent class. But if it has init, then it will execute the init of child class because child class is powerful. Then to access the attributes here, then you can use super. That is the understanding, right? Now the last topic that is left, actually there are other things also left, but for today, let's complete this polymorphism uh, because this is a small topic and not that hard to understand. So let's try to complete this polymorphism. So last thing that we are going to study is polymorphism. So we are going to again understand this polymorphism. So let's try to understand polymorphism. So what is the meaning of this polymorphism? Polymorphism, right? What is the meaning of poly? Right. Poly means many, right? Poly means many, right? And morphism means form. So it means many form, right? So poly means many, morphism means many form or states. So let's say states, whatever you want to put it. So what is this polymorphism? Polymorphism, polymorphism. Polymorphism simply means right, an object taking many forms slash states. This is your polymorphism. Now we need to understand what is polymorphism and how actually it takes a different states, how polymorphism work. So we have to understand this one by one. So let's start. So polymorphism in OOPS is actually right, takes in three ways. First is method overriding. So already we have seen method overriding. Do you guys remember this? Child class method is powerful. Is powerful. Already we have seen that. Everyone agrees to this or not? Everyone agrees to this, that the child class method is very powerful, right? Right. We have already seen this. Right? Now, second way here is method overloading, overloading, right? And then we have operator overload, operator overload. So let's try to understand this one by one in detail. So we are going to understand this one by one in detail. So already we have seen about method overriding. So what was method overriding? Whenever you inherited something, then if the method name is same, already we have seen. See, here it is by, here it is by. Then this by is more powerful. This will be executed. But now what is method overloading? So here I will just write one more comment. Child class method is a powerful between two classes. Between two classes. Right. So let's see an example so that it's not difficult to understand, right? So let's see this very easy info, example, and then we'll move ahead. So for example, let's say we have class student. So I will just write method overriding, right? So we have class student. So let's say class student. Okay. Right. So let's say we have example of another example. So let's say class animal. So let's say class animal. So we have a class animal. So it has a sound, def sound. Already we have seen this. That's why I am not writing it much. So print animal class sound, animal class sound, animal class sound, right? Animal class sound. Now let's say we have another animal class cat, cat, and now this is inheriting from animal. So now here I can just write, right, def sound, sound, and then I can just write self. So here in this case print, right, here I can just write the cat sound, the cat sound. So what will happen now? Let's make an object of animal. The moment you make an animal of an object of an animal, so let's say not animal, I will just make an cat. So let's say cat. So the moment you make an cat object, so c is equals to this, you will get option of method c dot sound. Now which sound will it be executed? This sound will be executed because child class is power. So here I can just write child class is powerful. This is method overriding. Powerful. This is method overriding. Overriding. Is it clear? This is clear, yes or no? Right? Yes or no, guys, everyone? Right? Is this clear? Right, right, right. Now comes, right, this is the basic understanding of method override. Now comes another thing that is called as method overloading. Now the second concept is method overloading. So method overloading. So now, first of all, we need to understand what is method overloading. So first of all, we have to understand this because this is very important, right? So in, let's say in one class, if we have if we have two methods by the same name, try to understand this. If in a class, if we have two methods by the same name, then based on arguments, based on arguments provided, based on arguments provided, different method will be executed, will be executed, right? Will be executed. First of all, this is the understanding of method overloading. What is method overloading? If in a class, right, right, if we have two methods by same name but behave differently, let's say, but behave differently, behave differently, 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 based on argument provided, based on argument, right, based on arguments or based on inputs, you can write whatever you want, based on inputs provided, then we say that this is the method overloading. But there is one thing, right, 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 that is one thing, there is one thing, that Python actually don't support method overloading. So that's why I had to first define method overloading. See, in one class, if we have two methods by the same name but behave differently based on input provided, right, right, this is method overloading. So here I will like, this is method overloading. So this is method overloading, method overloading. But actually Python doesn't support it. But Python doesn't support it. Python doesn't support it. Doesn't support it. Doesn't support it. Python will simply execute. Python will simply execute the last method. I will show you. Will simply execute last method. So for example, let's say we have class student. So class student. So class student. Now here we have def student. This is a method. Student. This is a method. Right. Now inside this we have self, and let's say here we have name. Right. Right. So here you can just write print welcome to the career craft class. Let's say welcome to the career craft class, and maybe let's say I will just write name, whatever name is there. So let's say name. This is your student self name. Now here, now I will just write it again. So def student, right? This time I am just saying that student name and also let's say course, right? Welcome to the career craft class name, and let's say here I will just write course. Very good, not a problem. Let's say again I will make the same method by the same name, def, and this time name course, and this time maybe let's say duration, and then here I will provide duration, right? Very good. This is the understanding. Now I will just execute it. Now if you make an object like this student and you provide, right, right, okay, you don't provide anything. First of all, let's say s is equals to this is your student class, and then let's say you see s dot hit tab, you have a student, then ideally if you pass the name Ajay, it should execute, but it will throw an error because missing two required positional argument, course and duration. Why it is happening so? Can anyone answer this? Why it is happening so that when you wrote as dot student some name, it is actually throwing you an error? Why? Can anyone answer this quickly? Why? Right. Anyone? Anyone? Why it is happening so quickly? Right. Because of the reason last one will be executed, and last one has name course duration. So by default, last will be, this will throw error, this will throw error, error, Why? Because by default last last student method will be executed. Will be executed. This is the reason, and that's why you find it an error. This is actually the problem. This is the problem. But have you ever thought why it happens so? Right. Overloading is not a bad concept. Actually, this is a very good concept. But have you ever thought why Python didn't give this flexibility? Why didn't Python supported overloading? Supported overloading. Anyone has any idea? Right? Very simple. Right? We have because because Python has already done its job, because Python has a concept called default argument. Argument. Simple. Python has a concept of default argument. What is the meaning of this? So let's say I will copy it, class student. So let's say class student. So here I will just remove this, fine, and I will just put course is equals to this, duration is equals to this, and done. So maybe let's say name is also equals to this. Right? See here. Now if you make an object student, so let's say student a s is equals to student. So if you let's say make student and then just write s dot, right, student. If you don't provide anything, welcome to the career craft class. If you provide something, let's say s dot student, this time you pass the name Ajay. So welcome to the career craft class Ajay, right? Then again s dot student, right? And this time you pass the name Ajay, and then let's say, right, a advanced certification program ACP 1.0. So let's say 1.0 here. So now you will see welcome to the class Ajay ACP 1.0. Now further, if you finally also pass something like this for 6 months, for 6 months, for 6 months, then you will also be able to see this. Welcome to the career craft class Ajay ACP 1.0 for 6 months. Is it clear, everyone? So this actually default argument does everything for you. This is the understanding. Now the last thing, that is where it went, operator overloading. So what is this operator overload? Operator overloading. It's a very easy thing, right? So for example, let's say plus symbol is there. So here let's say career, career plus craft, plus craft. So here if you see, this actually behaves like a string concatenation, right? But again, if you just do 4 plus 10, what it does, it just add the number. Here it behaves like a addition. Then here let's say we have a list, maybe 1, 2, 3, and then you just do plus. Here you do 5, 6. It behaves like a, you know extending the string. So this is what we are doing. You are extending the string. So what is happening here, right? Plus symbol, plus is operator which behaves differently differently with different data type, different with different data type, right? Data type. That's it. This is your operator overloading. This is your operator overload, not a big deal. This is your operator overloading. Right? Right. Is it clear, everyone? Now, last thing about polymorphism. Right, right, right. Last thing. Very simple. Right, right. Same method behaving differently. So let's say now. what I can do, same method of behaving, or no, behaving differently. Okay. So again, same example, another example, another example. So it's not just another example. So let's say def teacher lecture. So we have teacher lecture. So teacher lecture here, I will just write it like in this you know uh, self. So let's say self, and here I will just put a class teacher. A very simple one application. I am just showing class teacher. This is something like this. Print. This is teacher lecture. This is teacher lecture. Right. This is your first class teacher. Then same thing, I will make a class student. So let's say I will make a class student. So here I can just write class student. Right. For different class. For two different classes. Now class student. This time here instead of teacher lecture, I will just write as dot lecture, right? Or student lecture, right? Or just put it lecture. So lecture can be of both perspective, with a student perspective, with a teacher perspective. So this is a student lecture, right? Student lecture. Very easy. Now I will make a, let's say I will make a function, normal function. So def parser. Parser means I just want to make sure that there are different class object. So let's say I will make it here objects, and objects. We have this class. So argument object for I in objects. I want to put it here. For I in objects, print I in objects. I want to just print I dot lecture. So I dot lecture. Very simple. I dot lecture. Now what I'm going to do, I will just make a object of both teacher. So let's say both teacher and student. So object one of, let's say, teacher. So let's say object one of teacher, and then I will be having object two of teacher. So object two of teacher, done. So this is your object one and object two. So this becomes my objects is equals to this list object one and object two. So object one and object two. Okay. So this teacher, okay, this is a student. So I'll put it like a student, student. And now if you just execute this like this, now what I'm going to do, I will just pass this parser here. Now you will realize that both the object behave differently here. So I have not called this method, so I'll just call this method. Now you will see this is a teacher lecture and this is a student lecture. So this is how, right? This is how, right, you can have, you know same method behaving differently with the collection. So basically you are having multiple applications together. How you can have a collection of object and see how objects behave differently. Just a small application. So that would be all, I guess, for today's lecture. Now some interview questions, and then again we will discuss if you guys have any doubts. So interview questions. Today we had a lot of concepts that we have studied, right? Inheritance. What is inheritance? What is inheritance? Inheritance. What is inheritance? Why none is printed, sir? So none, I have to just check it out. Maybe I no execute it twice, that's why it is none. I will just check it once. So what is inheritance? This is the first types of inheritance. Types of inheritance. Inheritance. This is a type of inheritance, right? This is the second thing. Now third thing, right? How constructor, or which constructor is revoked, right? Right. Which constructor, which constructor revoked, revoked revoked instead of which constructor revoked revokes revokes when you have you have a child constructor, a child class, a constructor in the child class, a constructor in child class, in child class. Very important. They will ask you, right, with example. So they will give you a problem statement. So this is a constructor, this is a constructor. How to revoke this? Right? They will ask, what is the use of super? This is ultra important because if you understand this, you have understood the OOPS clearly. What is polymorphism? What is polymorphism? Today's class is very, very important with respect to interview. What is overloading? Overloading. Why Python doesn't support it? Very important. What is overriding? Right? Overriding. Very important. This should be the possible interview question from this lecture. Is this clear, everyone? Anyone has any questions to be asked? Right, right. Anyone has any questions to be asked? Right. Please go ahead and ask questions if you have any. Right. So, any suggestions, any feedback for today's lecture, guys? Did you enjoy it or it was too tough? What do you think, guys? Everyone, right? Did you understood or it just went above the head, right? Okay, very good. I see a lot of people. Santanu says tricky, very easy. Weapon says very easy, very good weapon, sir. Right? Lesson was good. Very good. Don't worry, in the next class we will have more application of these things. But yes, this was today's class was literally, uh, if you are attentive for the whole time, then it was very easy to understand. Right. Right. Very conceptual. Okay. So that would be all for no this class, guys. Let's meet in the next class. I will be also giving you no internal assignment. Hopefully, you guys have done the assignments that I had given you guys earlier. Please complete it that assignment. Okay. So that would be all for this lecture.